Hi, I'm Sage. I wrote a book called The Black Bra Club, and since I started this YouTube channel, I wanted to interview women with the assessment questions that are in the book, and I have not yet got somebody lined up to start, so I thought I'll go ahead and answer the questions myself. I'll put the questions down in the description, put a link to them, and you can download them if you'd like, and let me know if you'd like to be interviewed. The interview will be over the questions, so you won't be blindsided, although I will try to dig a little deeper sometimes to find out stuff about you that you may not realize was important, or I don't know how to say it, not necessarily important, but enlightening to other people. Like my friend Diana, when we first started the Black Bra Club, she was just a little old lady, kind of round, older, quite a bit older than me, and she was a writer, and she joined the Black Bra Club, and the ladies that we first got together with the Black Bra Club, we came up with these assessment questions. So the assessment questions are made so that we can get to know each other better and help each other and be there for each other. So in the process of answering these questions and talking to her, I found out some really interesting things about her. Even though she was older and retired, she had been a Southwestern Bell operator for years. Before that, she had been in the Women's Air Corps and had lived in Alaska. And then when she came back to Missouri, she actually took photography lessons from Ansel Adams. I'm like, who knew? Looking at this little old lady, you know, such an unassuming little person, and all that stuff was in her life and nobody knew about it. So I feel like that's true of so many people, so many women, and we need to be there for each other, be supportive of each other, hold each other accountable for what we do. And so I thought I'll just go ahead and answer the questions on this video, and then you'll know kind of what to expect as we get along to doing some other women that are probably way more interesting than me. First question is, how do you see yourself and how do you think others see you? Well, I see myself as kind of a boring person, and I know other people don't see that. I have done a lot in my life, but I don't feel like my personality stands out as being anything special. I mean, that's how I see it. I know other people think I'm funny. Some people think that I'm interesting, but I don't really see it myself. And I think that's probably true of a lot of people. They just don't see themselves as what they really are, what their potential really is. Second question. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being the lowest, where do you rate your self-esteem? Well, it used to be in the dumps when I was younger. When I was younger and when I was thin and pretty, I didn't feel that way at all. I felt like I don't know, kind of an awkward person. I had red hair and I felt like I stuck out like a sore thumb. I just wanted to blend in with everybody else. I didn't want to look different. And I didn't have really good self-esteem. It was probably a 2 or 3. But now that I'm 69, I think it's up there around 8 or 9, because I really don't care what other people think. And I've gotten to that point. I think actually when I hit 40, I started getting that way, to where it just wasn't, you know, other people's ideas and thoughts of me didn't worry me. And so it helped my self-esteem to not be worried about others. Who is in your circle of influence? My circle of influence, well, the ladies at the Black Bra Club, definitely. My family, my husband, I have 2 sons and a daughter, and their spouses and children. So I've got grandkids. I've got oh gosh, Jacob has 3, and 2 of them are adults, and one of them is a great grandkid, and he's just turned 10. And then I've got my daughter, her husband, and she has 4 kids, and the oldest is 15 and the youngest is 3. Then my youngest son is just been married, and he's got one that's almost 1. And so all of those people are in my circle of influence. There are probably others that I don't even know about, and that's usually the case, is people don't realize how many people are in your circle of influence. So you need something that you really need to think about a lot. What is the most important thing you learned from the women in your life and from the men in your life? Well, from the women in my life. My mom showed me, not so much told me, but showed me how to be there for others. My mom and dad both were very good parents. They weren't perfect, but they were very good. They were very supportive. They encouraged us to be independent. And then as her grandkids came along, the ones that she had in her circle of influence, she was there for them in ways that other people couldn't be there for them. And she's also was active in the schools, and even when she had pancreatic cancer, she would still go to the school and read to the little kids. And it just astounded me how giving she was. So she's one of the ones that was an influence on me. So far as men, my father, for one. My father was very much of an encouragement to be your own person, be an individual, don't go along with the crowd. He was a very independent person himself. Even though he was in the military, he was still very independent. And then my husband. My husband is a kind man, and he's a giver in a way that I never was. I had grown up where we didn't have very much, and so I was very careful with my money and didn't think about spending money that I didn't have or giving away things, because what few things I had were precious to me, I guess, in some ways, and in other ways I didn't have a whole lot, and I didn't care to have a whole lot. But he's taught me a lot about being a giver and being forgiving. He's a very forgiving person and a very humble person. He doesn't think twice if he's in the wrong to ask forgiveness of somebody, and he will ask forgiveness at the drop of a hat, and then he'll try to do better. It's been an awakening thing of a person that is an example of Christ definitely without preaching to you about it. He doesn't do that. But he had a terrible childhood. His father died when he was 2. His mother left him or was made to leave them. And he was brought up by grandparents, foster parents, relatives, not any one person all the time. His uncles were drug addicts. He had to go visit them in San Quentin multiple times. Drugs were around him all the time growing up. And yet, somehow, when he graduated high school, also, he had dyslexia. And so people told him he was dumb all his life, even though he's a brilliant man. He's not dumb at all. He reads all the time. But because he didn't do well in school, mostly because of dyslexia, he was told that he was stupid and he was dumb because he was failing in school. Well, once I think it was a college teacher found out he was dyslexic and made some arrangements to give him a little support in those different areas, his grades went from D's to A's and B's, just like that. So he's definitely not dumb. And when I met him, he'd been through the military for 4 years. He'd been in the Navy. And then he went to Bible college junior college and Bible college for a couple of years. And then he moved from California to Missouri at the invitation of a friend, and I met him in church, and it's another whole story, but I feel like God put me in his life to share with him the love of God in a way that he had never experienced unconditional love before, because I'd had so much. I grew up with so much. I grew up in a Leave It to Beaver family where everything was solid, and I just felt so much compassion for him because he didn't have that. He didn't have any yet. He was a Christian. He was a good man. He was honest he was as honest as the day is long. So anyway, he's definitely been an influence on me and somebody admire from him. What do you wish you knew as a child that you weren't taught? Oh my gosh, so many things. My parents were good parents, but some of the things I learned were through ways that were not the best, like the facts of life. One of the kids, when I was in 3rd grade, told me how babies got made. It was a boy, and I'm like, no way. I did not believe that. I went home and asked my mom, and she says, yeah, that's what happens. You've seen the dogs in the yard and what they do. And I'm like, I was so shocked. And I was so grossed out. So I didn't do things that way, needless to say, for my kids. I can't exactly tell you how I did it, but I didn't do them like that. And then when it came to being sexually active as a teenager, I can remember going to my mom and asking her, why is it wrong to have sex before marriage? If you love each other, what's wrong with that? And she didn't give me an answer. And I figure now it's because she had had sex before marriage. I know she had. And so she didn't feel like she could answer that judgmental question. Well, I had sex before marriage too. But I did answer that question. And I'll just say that it has to do with your relationship with God, that it's a blood covenant when you get married, and it entangles your life emotionally in a way that is hard to withdraw from if you change your mind later. So I gave it a lot more thought and a lot more explanation than that, but that's in general what I said to my kids. And those are 2 things that I can think of right off the bat that I would wish I weren't taught. That being said, I was taught a lot of really good things too. Okay, next one. What dreams have you fulfilled? Well, Nini. I'm not big on dreams. I'm kind of a go as you flow type of person, but I did start my own business. I wanted to start, I had a rug weaving business, and I did well at it for a while. And we moved around some and had to haul great big floor looms with us, which was kind of a pain. I ended up having to get rid of them eventually. Wish I still had them, but needless to say, that was one of the dreams that I had that was fulfilled. And I'm working on fulfilling my dream doing this. This is one that I'm working on right now. The Black Bra Club, helping women understand how much they need each other rather than being catty and dissing each other. It's so much more important that we be there for each other rather than not being there. Okay, what dream have not been fulfilled? Okay, that's this one. This is the one of doing the YouTube channel as a way of supporting the Black Bra Club. The Black Bra Club really isn't off the ground yet. We're starting. I've started holding meetings, and we're pretty consistently have done it for, probably 3 or 4 months now, because as we go through the book, several of the chapters have taken multiple weeks. We don't take it one a week. So also trying to monetize the YouTube channel. I think the monetizing the YouTube channel will help me do some traveling, and if I can help people start Black Bra Club meetings in other places, having the money to do so without burdening other people would be a great thing. Also, I have a son that lives in Abu Dhabi, and I would really like to go visit him, but I'm probably going to do that anyway, whether this gets monetized or not. But however, the support of the Black Bra Club is the biggest reason why I'm trying to get this monetized, and I don't really need the money for daily living. We have enough income to handle our living, and I even put savings away, so that's not it. But in order to really promote the book and to help people get started in other places, it would take more than what I've got. Next one is, what are your long-term goals? Long-term goals. Well, my biggest long-term goal is to promote the Black Bra Club, and I've got several other books that I'm writing that are in the works as soon as I get the time to do it. One of them is one on child rearing. I've been a teacher and seen what it's like, what kids are going through, and I know it's hard for parents right now, because when my kids were growing up, I was able to stay at home with my kids. My husband allowed that. He said, go ahead, stay home, I'll work. And that was such a blessing. But so many people can't afford to, or don't think they can afford to. And it's made the household very stressed. And it's made it so that children are not being mentored the way they need to be mentored. That is also part of the Black Bra Club, is the mentoring aspect. Long-term goals. Writing a book about raising children. As a teacher, I saw so many kids who need mentoring. They don't have basic life skills because either their parents don't know enough to teach them to them, or they just don't have the time to teach it to them. So when the mother is having to work outside of the family, they come home, they're both tired, they don't have a lot left in them, they still have to do all the daily house chores. It's hard. That's my long-term goal, is to do something to help with that. What steps have you taken to fulfill these goals? Well, I've talked to people about it, and they agree that this is definitely something that needs happening. I've talked to my daughter, who's a wonderful mother, probably a better mother than I ever was. She's just very organized, and I know she prays for her kids all the time. She's a good example to them. So I'll probably get her input on the book as well as a few other people. And a lot of teachers probably, because having talked to a lot of teachers, I know what they're having to deal with every day. And the reason why so many teachers are leaving is because the behaviors in school are so bad that they really can't teach. They don't teach for the money. They teach because they want to be there for the kids and they love the job. But too many people I know have just gotten out of the field because it's been such a trial. What are your short-term goals? Short-term goals depends on how short-term you're talking about. My short-term goals is to try to get some more interviews done every week and put them up on YouTube. I'm also, short-term goal, go to the Black Bra Club meeting. We're meeting today at 11:30 at McAllister's Deli on West Battlefield. We meet there. We've been meeting there pretty much every week. Occasionally we go to the Hill instead, but the the meeting is open to other women if they want to come. So give me a shout out or a call if it's something that you want to start, and I'll definitely do whatever I can to help you. If I have to even meet you with you on Zoom or FaceTime or something to help get a meeting started, I'm glad to do that as well. Let's see, what steps have you taken to fulfill them? Well, I haven't taken as many steps as I would like to. The meeting this morning, I have been going through the chapter of the book that we are reading. It's the Black Bra Club, and I usually go through it, summarize the chapter in a couple of sentences, make an icebreaker, go through, list out the questions that are to be answered, and print out pages to hand out to the girls so that they can go through and answer them there at the table. A lot of them have already answered them. They've got their books and they've answered the questions and they come ready, but sometimes they want to write down stuff, other answers that other people have given because they're just enlightening. Are you afraid of failure? Why or why not? I'm not afraid of failure. I've failed plenty of times in my life. I've gotten up, dusted myself off, and gone at it again and again and again. I have been laid off so many times, especially as a graphic designer. Anytime the things get tight for a business, the first place they lay off is advertising. So I got laid off in advertising more than once. Or if things switch, if a new manager comes into the office and they have their own people, they'll bring in their own people and then you get laid off. But going through those layoffs many, many times, I found out that God always provides. I was either able to draw unemployment for a while and then get a job. I always got a job before my unemployment was out, or there was another job around the corner, or I was just okay with not working anymore. It was just, God's always been there for me and shown me that He's been there for me. So I'm not afraid of failure. Next one is, are you afraid of success? Why or why not? Yeah, I'm afraid of success. I'm not daunted by success. I'm not sure I will have success, but I'm more afraid of success than I am of failure, because success will mean my life will change. And like, if I get this Black Bra Club off the ground like I would like to, it'll probably mean some traveling. It'll probably mean that my husband will have to be alone without me and I will worry about him. Just the unknown of it all, I guess, is probably what causes me to feel like I'm more afraid of success than I am of failure. So those are the questions. There's the next chapter. There's like a 1 and 2 part assessment in the book. The next one is finding things that are good about yourself, and it lists a whole bunch of probably almost 100 different things that you can check off to see if any of those are something that you can circle that you see in yourself.